I've been learning more about Advisor in QReader, and I want to share something that I think might be useful. I have this offense that Advisor already investigated on this user, this is Falcon, and I fire other offenses in my demo system here, and notice this particular address in here, one that ends in 70, 69, 195, 129, 70, right? And let's actually go in here in the analysis that Advisor did, and you can ignore these green pieces in here with these two offenses. These are offenses. This is a result of my previous testing on this very same case, and that's what these two offenses are there. So you can safely ignore the green here. But we see that this particular address is involved in this incident. Why is it that Advisor is not telling me about? Remember, if we go back to the offenses, why is not telling me that you know, Jenny Davin and all these things about this particular offense? Well, happens to be that Advisor is not, it could become a little too noisy if it's going to be showing you all those relationships. So what Advisor does, it doesn't fill this in with lines just for the sake of it. If we look at this particular IP, Advisor looks at two things: the toxicity level, in this case is 1, it's not a very toxic type of IP or IOC, and the relevance is 4, which is, you know, pretty good. Happens to be again that 0.4 is the level of relevance, I mean how related to these events this particular IP is, and the toxicity is also 0.4. When you get those two criteria met, 0.4 on toxicity and 0.4 on relevance, Advisor will fire on, and it will give you green lines indicating, well, when I look at all these IOCs and I perform a search of logs and flows in your system for the last 7 days, I found that Jenny Davin and all these guys also touched this particular IP. It's not telling me that again because in this particular case, the toxicity of this particular IP is not high enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here in Advisor, and I'm going to go into tuning, and of course some caveats: do this on a test system or try with this. You don't want to get Advisor to be noisy. The scientists behind this put those thresholds for a reason. So, but I'm just showing you, I'm modifying them to make sure that you understand how these work, and it might be useful that you may want to make for a particular case or for a short period of time an investigation that is more thorough. So I'm going to add here 2 parameters. The first one is I'm telling Advisor, hey, you know, instead of 0.4, which is your default, I want you to take into consideration toxicities that are level 1 and higher. Let me add that parameter. And I'm going to add another one just for the sake of it for the relevance. So I'm saying for stage 3, consider anything that is 1 and above as relevant. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to that offense, and I'm going to ask Advisor to reinvestigate. I'm going to pause the video. This takes 2 or 3 minutes to make the video a little shorter. Okay, let's actually look at the graph with those parameters that we changed and see if I expect to see, oh yeah, actually it's even more than what I was expecting. I wanted to see this Jenny Davin because she touched this IP being flagged here when he did the search on my logs and flows. Out of all the blue, which I think it is a great value for advisors, a great time saver. So this is working. Now, again, and notice that it detected also Ray Karine and others. So it's actually very good. So use this with care, because you don't want to have irrelevant arrows. If the relevance and the toxicity is put in there, it's for a reason. But I thought it might be a good idea to know that this knob exists in Advisor for you to tune up your investigations.